What is up, everyone? Happy Sunday. I think it's Sunday. Let me double check my computer. Happy Sunday. You get a little mixed up when you're an entrepreneur sometimes or running a business what day it is, right? Unless you're looking at your Google Calendar. So happy Sunday to everyone. I hope you guys have had a great weekend so far. I hope your month of June has been amazing. If you are watching right now, first of all, thank you so much. It's Sunday. You could be doing anything else. I really appreciate you joining me on this episode of learning and sharing and caring, to be honest. So you know what to do. Drop a comment. Where in the world are you watching from? And what is one thing that you're grateful for today? Let's get that grateful banner up on there. One thing you guys are grateful for. And I'm going to start off. One thing that I am incredibly grateful for is the universe, God, energies that be decided that a mama cat in our neighborhood wanted to bring 4 beautiful, beautiful, healthy, adorable kittens into our garage and keep them in a box. There's just a box with 4 kittens, and the mom comes in. She's such a good mama cat, you guys. It's so heartwarming, and she comes in and she lets them breastfeed from her, and they're just sweet cats. They don't make any noise. They don't mew or go meow meow, anything like that. No hissing. The mom seems actually relatively chill about people. She waits outside when we go in our garage to deal with anything. Just amazing. I've always loved cats. We've never been able to have any because we have 4 dogs, and one of them's very instinctual. Her name's Hershey. She's like a mini German Shepherd mutt, and she's killed a porcupine before, and she chases after squirrels. So we're just worried. Would never want to have anything bad happen. But luckily, it's easy to keep our dogs out of the garage. They don't even know what's going on. So it's pretty cool. What is up? We got Mihad in the house. We got Ali Beck. We got Chad. What's good? Sharon. And let's see, we got Surender. How's it going, you guys? Thanks for joining in today. And we're talking about business. We're talking about winning. We're talking about life, you guys. Bring your questions. Throw them at me. Throw them in the comments. What are you guys wondering about? What are some things maybe that you're struggling with, either in your business or your personal life right now? How are you guys doing with all the coronavirus? How are you doing still being in lockdown? Or are some of you guys getting out back into the world? I know I'm getting a little bit out back into the world. Our downtown here in Spokane, Washington is really starting to open back up. Some of the restaurants and food places you can go and actually sit in. I just went into one the other day, and it was almost full, which is really, really cool. It was a kind of, usually dead time of day, and it was doing really well. So it's very exciting for me to see the world getting back to it. I really miss the energy that exists when people come together. So I love the energy in restaurants. I love the energy in a downtown. I love the energy when people gather. I think that's a really beautiful thing. So very happy to see that getting back to a little bit of normal. Thanks, Guadalupe. I'm doing really fantastic, making a lot of progress in my own business, you guys. I've been working really hard on my agency that's formed, but you guys, it still feels like it's really forming and coming together, especially I think for the next year. It's really going to feel that way. When you're building a bigger company or a more larger scale company, there just is more foundation work. It's the same way a building works, right? The taller you're building, the deeper down you have to go with that foundation. And so I'm really trying to go pretty deep right now in terms of figuring out more of what my core focus is, more specifically the niche that I'm going to focus on. You guys, it's hard when you start out and you're good at marketing and you're good at sales, and that applies to absolutely every business. Now, I'm never going to be the most effective, and this applies to you guys too. You will never be the most effective if you disperse yourself everywhere. The more focused you can be, the more powerful you can be. And once you have that increased power and you tap into it, then it allows you afterwards, I think, to expand your focus into different areas. But you always want to tap into your main area of potential where your talents and your passions cross the most. That's where you're going to have the most amount of success. So that's where you want to focus the most of your energy. And I'm in that reflective, guys, it's a huge, long, reflective process of what am I the most passionate about? Where am I the most talented? Especially if you're someone, not to brag, but I certainly am above average in most of the things that I try. I have a natural level of talent that's significant in many areas. I was very good at sports, any sport that I tried, because I have I got the DNA, you guys. I'm lucky. I'm very blessed. Now, was I the best at sports? No, never. I never had that DNA. I practiced really hard. I practiced a lot harder than most people. Not all people, but there were always people with better DNA than me in terms of sports. I was never the fastest, could never jump the highest, but I've always been really quick in terms of identification. Like for basketball, I see things quickly, and that's always helped me out both in sports and in business and in personal life and everything. We got Sharon with a message here. Let's see. Hello, I hope you're doing great. He's an IT person offering multiple services worldwide. Okay, you guys, don't spam my comments with solicitations, or you'll end up getting blocked. Just a little thing. More rules of the chat. No negativity. We don't ever put anyone else down in my live streams, in my comments. We're always supportive, always positive things to say. We can definitely argue and have some discussions, but always want to be incredibly kind and respectful of everyone in here. City says, can I be more specific? He wants to know, how does my business work? Yeah, so right now my business is technically an agency. One sec, let me yell at my French bulldog. Kronos, hey. Kronos, stop that. Stop it, mister. Yeah, I'm watching you. That's right. That's right. I'm watching you, bro. All right. I have a naughty little French bulldog who likes to chew at his paws and scratch his ears and things like that. I got to keep him in check. So my business is an agency. I'm building it out to be able to handle a large amount of execution and communication. So it's a communications agency, a communications company. You could call it a media company, because media and communications are almost the same thing. Media is a form of communications. And really what my focus so far, and again, I'm in the process of narrowing this down, but my focus is on creating processes and systems that allow me to deliver results based on my theologies. So my theologies about how people connect through conversation, meaning the more number of conversations I have with someone, the more likely we are to have a deep bond or a deep connection, and therefore the more likely they are to purchase something. Now, that's not necessarily why you have more communications. You have more communications because it demonstrates that you care more. And that's very important to me. It actually makes people feel that you care more the more you communicate. And that's highly, highly important to me. Now, does it happen to also completely correlate to business? Yes. So I'm trying to build out a machine, a system, an agency, a company that is able to deliver at mass scale on this theory that communication is what drives business, that all of business, everyone's success, in fact, any individual success in any relationship, in every single part of their life, is going to be driven by their ability to communicate and at what scale they communicate. And so I'm building this company to, again, be able to deliver that at volume to larger businesses. Right now, I'm really trying to work with businesses, I'd say, in the medium range. So if you make 1 to 10 million revenue per year, that's kind of the business that I'm targeting right now. But again, I'm constantly working on and refining my process with the help of my own mentor and coach, with the help of books that I'm using as resources and tools. So these are all things that are available to you guys as well. I didn't start out in a position where I was crushing it this hard. Now, have I always been kind of good at marketing, at sales? Yes, but it's taken me a very, very significant amount of work on a daily basis for many, many years to refine my skill set, to refine my ideas, to narrow in and understand what my passions are, where my skills are, and how those things are helpful to other people. That's the other thing. That's the major difference for me that I've really tapped into this past year, I would say. And I've always done that through communication, through conversation. How do I know where my talents and my skills are valuable? Because I've talked to now hundreds, if not thousands of people on LinkedIn who are running actual businesses, who are part of actual businesses. And I've been able to talk to them in the context of my skill set to find out where my value applies the most. That is so important, you guys. I think every single company needs to realize that either before you start your company or within those first 2 years, it's crucial to be talking to as many customers and potential customers as humanly possible. That absolutely will give you the best setup for success on every single level, but especially on a communications and a marketing level. Dog person, absolutely. I have 4 dogs. One is a French bulldog, 2 pit bulls. We actually got the French bulldog for one of the pit bulls. We have a skinny, agile, athletic pit bull and a big, fat, heavy, lazy pit bull. And the skinny athletic pit bull needed another dog to play with because the other one really isn't on his level play-wise, energy-wise. So we got the Frenchie to match the crazy pit bull. That's how crazy Frenchies are. They got awesome energy, super personalities, great dogs. What's up, Latasha? I hope you're having a really great day. Let me know if you have any questions about business, about if you guys are within a company, different ways that you can maximize kind of your opportunities. I'd say one of the things that I've always been really good at, what's led me to where I am now, is a knack for understanding what an opportunity is, or in what ways an opportunity can bring value to me, both now and later. And being able to see the multiple facets of any opportunity really allows you to evaluate it at a different level. And I would say in the past where I lacked and where I was really bad, you guys, I was terrible at risk management and risk assessment. Terrible at it. That's something I've really worked on in the past. I mean, since I was in a gas explosion, I've worked on risk assessment, but I'd say really in the past 2 years since we had a major loss with our glass blowing business, investment wise, it's really forced me to look and consider at my risk in a different way. So combining, being good at seeing opportunity with good risk assessment is paying off very, very well for me now. And it, behooves me to tell you guys that those two things go together. Having one without the other really isn't going to get you too far. If you're good at assessing risk, but you can't see and identify opportunities very well, you're going to be stuck. It's going to be hard to move forward at the speed at which businesses are starting to win and operate. Let's see if we got a couple questions here. What's the name of my company? It is Mayan Gordon Media. You guys, check it out on LinkedIn. If you're not following, definitely go follow. I give a lot of tips and advice there specific to TikTok, specific to LinkedIn. Definitely sometimes shared content from my personal profile, but mostly I'm trying to keep it different content. I do a TikTok weekly news report. That's a news summary of all the different things going on in the TikTok world. I also have a newsletter you can sign up for through that page. So make sure you guys go check it out. Let's see. Someone says I'm an air traffic controller and I'm from Senegal. How can I participate in my business? So, I don't have any positions for hire, if that's what you're asking right now. But, I think how you can participate, let's say, in anyone's business is through communication, conversation, and engagement. So if there's some business you want to work for, but they're not hiring, like mine, the best way to get on their radar for when they are hiring is to start engaging with them now. Start providing them value. You know how you guys could provide me with value? Comment on my posts. Share my posts. Sharing is the thing, you guys, that I probably value the most, way more than a comment. When you share my post, it exposes it to a new audience. It says, hey, check this out. I think this provides value. And so I definitely appreciate that. Let's see. Thank you, Guadalupe said that I'm thinking outside the box and that what I'm doing actually might make a difference in the world. And that I truly believe that, you guys. I believe if people learned how to communicate better, there would be way less fighting. There would be way less hate, because people don't want to hate each other, you guys. It's a horrible feeling. Think about any time you've hated someone. Did that feel good? Like, was that a good feeling inside of you? No. I'll answer for you. The answer is no. No one's ever hated someone and felt good. It's not a good feeling. It's a bad feeling. And so we're creatures that are very, very intelligent. We don't inherently want to hurt ourselves. Now, there's all these crazy external factors that happen to affect our brains in ways that are self-detrimental. And I think that a lot of that is through communication, right? A huge, huge thing that impacts how our brain forms as children And how we continue to act and behave as adults is what we hear, what we listen to, whether that communication's through video, whether that communication is visual, auditory, or text, or whether it's thoughts in someone's head that have been put there from some type of context. Maybe it's an environmental context. That these things all play incredibly heavily on how we feel, how we think, and how we behave. And I think that, if we can, any of us can have an impact, even if it's within our own family. And I believe in this very strongly. If you can change, think about the language you use in your family. Do you use positive language? Do you use encouraging language when people make mistakes? I'm not just talking about adults to kids. I'm talking about you and your spouse, anyone in your household. When something happens that you don't like, how do you talk about that? What are the words you use? What's the language? How do we think about that? Are we reacting, or are we making choices with our language? And these are all things that I want to have a profound impact on in the world. I want people to realize the value of communication to them in their life, and that really all the things that upset them in their life come down to learning how to change communication. And once you learn how to change communication, everything else in your life changes, and you actually have control over things you had absolutely no control over before. I think that's a really, really powerful thing for us to feel. It's very inspiring. It gives me a lot of hope for myself, for the world, for other people. And I love sharing that message that you can absolutely change your life by changing your words. In fact, changing a single word sometimes within your vernacular and your own vocabulary can have an incredibly profound impact on not only your life, but all of the people around you, all of the people you touch and that you affect. And I think as businesses, we all have really large social responsibilities to make positive impacts on the world, on the parts of the world that we touch as a business, from our employees to our customers to our communities that we exist within. Our communication has such a profound impact on all of those things, the quality of emotions we experience, and consequently the quality of life that we get to live. So I am so excited about this company to be able to make such a positive impact and change in the world that not only is good for people, but is good for the business, creates more money within the system for everyone, creates more happiness, kindness, love, respect, ingenuity, creativity. There is nothing bad that comes from communication, you guys. It is a wholly wonderful good thing. It's why human beings are the only animals gifted with the level of communication with words. Words are a different type of communication than any other type. Animals communicate in many, many different ways. Human beings communicate with words because they have a literal magic power to them that we just do not understand. We can see it, but we don't understand it. And you don't have to understand something for it to be real. I think a lot of people have experienced that in their lifetime where something's happened to them and they didn't understand what it was until later on when they were able to reflect and had more information and data to look back on it. It all of a sudden, it all makes sense, right? So I think faith and belief in the things that you can see but can't explain is another really important part of living a happy life. I think that human beings were so inquisitive. It's so in our nature to be curious, to ask why. And if you rely solely on the answer to be happy, I don't think you ever will. You will never have enough answers to your whys. What you will have is the ability to observe and believe without the why. And whether the why comes to you later on or not, be happy in the observation, in the cognition of connecting some of the dots, but having some of them still be a mystery. I think that's part of what makes our life so enjoyable, so special, so interesting to live, is that we don't ever connect all the dots. It's not something possible. It's not something that's going to ever happen. But if you can just connect a few of them, let's see what can happen from that. What's the magic? What's the beauty that can be created for not just yourself, but for everyone, for the world? Let's see if we got a couple last questions here, and then I'm going to wrap it up. You guys have been amazing. We got a question. How much is my income? Great question. Right now, I am doing between $8,500 and $10,000 a month. That is in revenue, not in profit, certainly. That's where I'm at now. My goal is to get to 15K next, and then after that, it's going to be 25. So it's just about setting goals, knocking them down, breaking them down, understanding how do I get to that goal? What's the most efficient way to get to that goal? And how does that fall within my overall bigger picture goals and focus? Let's see. Good stuff, Mayan. Got one question. I create online courses. Awesome. Thank you for providing valuable information into the system. It says, and that takes a lot of time. Yes, and energy. But also I have to answer students' questions, and I also create content for social media. Question below. I don't know how to hire a person for managing my TikTok account, Facebook, company, LinkedIn. What do you think I should consider? How do I do it? Well, I think most people will know the first answer I have is you should hire me. I will take care of it for you, no problem. Now, here's the real question. What if you can't afford me? So let's break that down. Hire the absolute best person you can for the job. A lot of times that's not going to be you, right? There's going to be someone out there who can do something better. If you can afford them, hire them. Plain and simple. It's not only going to give you better immediate return, it's a good investment to build long-term partnerships and relationships with people and companies that execute. Like, that's where you want to be. I would say if you can't, let's say you can't afford the best, then you want to consider, okay, who's still going to be able to produce as much, or let's say 80% or more of my own capability, but I'm getting back my time, because your time is incredibly valuable. If you can put in more of your time is almost always going to be valuable than the money you're spending if you're creating real value with your business. And if you're not, then that's the thing you need to look at is, how do I create more value so that my time is worth more and that then I can outsource more things? So I think that's kind of the process to think in. If you're in that mid stage, you really want to get either recommendations that you really trust and value from other people who are successful and they're using that tool or resource or company or service or product successfully within their own business, the same way you would use it. If you can't get those recommendations or tap into your network that way, then you want to do, I would say, a good amount of review and analysis between however many companies. So that's going to depend on kind of the quality of the companies within the ones that you're looking at initially, but probably like 10 to 20 is a good idea to look at because it'll give you a really good sense of where companies are similar and where any of them really stand out from the rest. If you can't hire a company, let's say you have to do it all yourself, then it comes down, I think, to being really efficient, to creating, processes and systems that allow you to set up and knock down those bowling pins, to set up that ball on the tee and hit a home run every time. So for me, that's using some technology tools like Google Calendar, Calendly. I use Trello boards. What other softwares I use? I use an app called Splice, which helps me do my editing really quickly for my videos. Different tools, right? Technology is going to give you so much speed. If you can learn how to use different technologies, you're going to have that extra speed. You're going to get that time back, reinvested into your business. Boom, huge advantage, especially coming out the gate. The other thing I would do is consider where you're getting the most value out of your time spent. You're probably getting, there's the 80-20 rule, right? You're probably getting 80% of your efficiency, effectiveness, productivity out of maybe just 20% of your efforts. And that's going to be different. Maybe some people's 50%, maybe you're super dialed in, 80 for 80, and you already got a lot of your time back. But really be, I'd say, auditing on a regular basis where you're spending your time and how much value you're getting for what's being spent, especially in the different areas. And always cut stuff, trim the fat, you guys. Realize, man, this type of conversation I had this week, I don't need to have that conversation. It didn't bring me a lot of value. I want to open up that time for maybe a different type of conversation with a different type of person. Or I want to open up that time for self-improvement, or I want to stretch. There's so many valuable things you can do with your time. It's okay to stop doing things that everyone else is saying, you got to do this, right? Everyone's saying you got to comment on other people's posts on LinkedIn, right? That's what everyone's saying. I'm saying you should audit that yourself and say, is that as valuable for me as anything else I could be doing? And if the answer is no, then put your time more into the things that provide you and bring you value. And again, value means something different to everyone else. Maybe value for you is peace of mind, right? Maybe you need that time for meditation. Maybe that's so valuable to you because your life is crazy or your head is crazy, like mine. Or maybe where you find the most value is spending time with your kids that fills your heart with a feeling that allows you to accomplish anything, right? Everyone's going to derive value and I'd say understand what value means in different ways. And so it's really important as a human being for you to identify what value means to you outside of everything else, outside of all the pressures, outside of all the messages that you're getting that are trying to tell you what value is, right? Me included, I send out so many messages. I send out so many posts. I put out so many posts that say, this is what you should do. I think this is valuable. I think you guys are missing this opportunity. Now, first of all, these are all just opinions, not facts. I am not, I don't have vision to see everything. These are all just observations based on my experiences and my analyses. And I try and always give context and explain what those analyses and what those things I see are and how I arrive and derive kind of my answers. But the other thing is to really audit and pay attention to, I would say, how you feel in different scenarios and break down why do you feel that way. And this is a great way to uncover both, I'd say, issues that you have, whether they're with people or scenarios or situations, in working through and dealing with those issues. For example, body image, right? Body image is an issue that I don't even know how many people deal with. Is it 70% of all people? Is it 90%? Is it higher? I can't know because no one can know because we can't go inside other people's heads. And the world, and most of the world, is so good at wearing a mask that says, I'm fine. I love myself, even when we don't. And I think, being able to dive deep into yourself and figure out, how much do I love myself? Where are the areas I could love myself more? What areas am I being negative or harming myself mentally or with my own thoughts? And really, constantly working through that process. There is no end of the rainbow in terms of happiness, you guys. It is an everyday kind of work on it type of thing. If you think that you can do some things in your life and end up in a happy place where things no longer bother you or where you don't have to make effort to be happy, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but that does not exist. What happens in real life is that every day you wake up and you have to face the world. You have to face your own body. Sometimes your body hurts for no reason. You wake up and your back hurts. You wake up, you slept funny on your neck. You wake up, your face is swollen because you're sick, right? Some days your body's going to be against you. Some days your mind is going to be against you. Some days your emotions are going to be against you. There is no happy end of the rainbow. What there is you turning yourself into a highly skilled individual that can overcome any obstacle within your path to reach a state of happiness. And I'd say a state of happiness is where we should all be trying to get to. And again, it's a state. States change. So it's something you have to constantly be aware of, audit, monitor, get into sometimes. But the better you get at it, the more you get to exist within that happy state. And that's what makes for a happy life, in my opinion. So I just wanted to come share some thoughts with you guys. I really appreciate you guys asking some questions. I'm going to scroll through here just one more time, see if there was anything that popped out. Andrew says, hi, Mayan. Sorry, just joined. Do you outsource? So yes, in the technical sense of the word, no in how I would interpret it. So I have one virtual assistant. So technically that's out. I'm not performing the work she's performing, such as I have her do some outside comment engagement. I have her answer some of my messages that are, hey, how's it going? Basic messages that don't really require any of my insight, so to speak, but just require my language. And I've trained her and taught her my language. I taught her this is how we speak to people at Mayan Gordon Media. These are the things that matter to us. These are our core values. And I'd love to share with you guys my 4 company core values. Me individually as a person, Mayan Gordon, I have 10 core values, and they're quite broad core values. But as a company, it's important to have separate core values as a company because me and my company are not the same thing. They are two different entities. And even though my company has my name, Mayan Gordon Media, that is not because we are one and the same. It is because it is created within the likeness of me. It is created to do my bidding, so to speak. And I love the connection and just the branding that comes with sharing those two things. I want to be kind of forever associated with the good things that I create. But here are my 4 company core values for Mayan Gordon Media. The first one is that we are forward-thinking leaders within our industry and our communities. The second is that we search out and implement the newest and best technologies. Third is that we always put our customers' needs first by approaching every situation from the customer's perspective and making their problems our problems, no matter what they are. The fourth is that we come up with creative and innovative solutions based on creating more value. Always based on creating more value, never based on what the cheapest option is, never based on what the fastest option is, never based on how people really feel about it, but based on creating more value, because value always wins in the ethos and the beliefs of my company. So those are the things that both me and my virtual assistant ride and die for. And it's kind of where everyone within my company is going to be hired by. More than skill set, of course, skills important. Core values are what we really value at Mayan Gordon Media, and especially those 4 core values are what going to drive all of our communications and all of our interactions. Let's see. So real quickly, again, I think why I don't think of it as outsourcing is Ria, her name's Ria, my virtual assistant, is part of my company. She is not some external tool. She is someone I talk to every single day. She's someone who does a heavy amount of research and learning the same way that I do. She values and lives by and works by these core values. She is as much a part of my company as I am. Now, yes, I'm leading it. Yes, I created it. Yes, I execute. I work 7 days a week. She works 5, but she is just as much a part and inside of my company as I am. So am I outsourcing? In my mind, no. But to the technical sense of the word, am I personally doing the work? Not always. I mean, I'm doing a lot of work, you guys. I think you see it. I come on here all the time. I'm doing my TikToks. Lots of platforms, lots of work. But I can't do everything that I would possibly need to do to touch 1 million lives, to touch 1 billion lives. And, that is my end all life all goal, is to touch as many people as possible in a way that has an actual profound impact on their life. And I think that that's created through a single moment. I think that I can change people's lives in a single moment. I don't think it takes days. I don't think it takes weeks or years. I think it takes a really, really strategic construction of environment, of system, of technology, of community, but that moments can profoundly, profoundly impact people. And through a series of moments, the world can be changed in a beautiful way. So thank you guys so much for joining today. If you thought there was any value in this live stream, I would really appreciate if you shared it. You can copy the link. You can share it directly to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. But let's get more and more people to be a part of this community. I'd love all of your guys' support in spreading and sharing Mayan Gordon Media's mission and message, which is that we are here to change the world through communication and through helping people see the power of communication in their lives, and that they are the hero of their own story. You guys are the hero of your story, and you guys are my hero because you're all out there making an effort every single day to be kind, to change the world in a positive way, and to bring value into the system. So I can't thank you enough for all doing that and being a part of this community that truly means so much to me, has caused me to grow so much, has changed my life and inspired me in so many ways. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your weekend, and we will see you again tomorrow. As always, you can hit me up on LinkedIn if you need to get in touch with me, on Facebook. And here is my email address. I'll leave it up there for a quick second so you guys can write it down if you need to. Email is a great way to get in touch, but LinkedIn's probably the best. So I appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic Sunday night, and we'll see you again on Monday.